Okay, I'm sold. At the end of Nintendo's E3 Direct for 2019, Nintendo revealed that a sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is currently in development, and wow, this game already looks so good, and it's just a teaser. The creepy music, the cavern-like setting, Zelda's participation in your quest, Ganondorf's rotting corpse! Oh, and that weird hand that later inhabits Link in the teaser? Overall, this game looks promising so far. Breath of the Wild was an absolute masterpiece with its open-world exploration and freedom of choice. However, there was a lot of stuff in Breath of the Wild that didn't exactly make it feel like a true Zelda experience. I am HylianLuke, and today I am going to list 5 things Breath of the Wild sequel needs in order to feel like a Zelda game. Remember, this is my opinion, and if yours differs from it, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With that out of the way, let's get this list started. Breath of the Wild's item system was revolutionary for the Zelda series. In previous Zelda games, Link had a sword, a shield, and his items he found on his adventure. In Breath of the Wild, however, Link has multiple weapons, shields, bows, arrow types, clothes, food, materials, and special items. All of these things are easy to access with the press of the start button. Link can choose to equip or drop any of his weapons, shields, or bows, as well as change into any of his clothes of the pant, torso, and head areas. For Breath of the Wild 2, we need to have this not changed, but improved. Add durability bars to Link's items so we know how much life they have till they break. Add forgery areas into the game so we can create, repair, and enhance our weapons of our choice with the required amount of materials and rupees. Also add blacksmith shops in addition to the forgery so we can purchase weapons as well. Add more sections to the clothing. Instead of dividing clothing options into 3 options, make it 5. Head, face, torso, legs, and feet. Have Link wear his cloak while also wearing a mask or a necklace, in addition to a tunic, pants, and boots of his choice. Also make it so we can change or enhance the special effect the clothes give. For example, in Breath of the Wild, the Flamebreaker outfit is what keeps Link from burning alive in the dangerous heats of Death Mountain. With the right materials and rupees, allow us to be able to enhance any clothes and give them the effect of fire resistance or fireproof, just like the Flamebreaker armor. Things like this can take Breath of the Wild 2 to higher places than ever before. In Breath of the Wild, one of the biggest disappointments for me was the lack of underwater exploration. With such a big world, it felt rather strange to not be able to dive underwater and find secrets. Imagine a shrine, or a divine beast at the bottom of Lake Hylia, or an underwater boss fight. When I first played Breath of the Wild, I tried to see if I could swim underwater, but when I couldn't, I actually did not think that swimming underwater was excluded from the game. Much like Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, I thought I would not be able to swim underwater until I acquired an item that allowed me to do so, like the Zora armor or the Water Dragon's scale. Upon collecting the full Zora armor set, I attempted to swim underwater only to fail. This was a rather sad find to say the least. If Breath of the Wild 2 wants to really wow us, they gotta add underwater exploration. Finding special types of fish, sea creatures, underwater battles, and the like would be incredibly cool to bring back for this next installment of the Zelda series. While it had a good cast of characters and story for what it had, Breath of the Wild's story felt very unfinished. The story made me feel like there was so much more to the champions and Zelda than what we saw, and yet we don't get to interact or really grow with them as characters. The main problem with this story is that you watch the story happen rather than experience it. The story of Breath of the Wild already happened, and Link is just recollecting these memories for him to remember and for the player to witness. To fix the story, it may involve removing some of the freedoms that Breath of the Wild gave to the player. If it means a better story, however, I'm willing to give up some of that freedom. Now, that doesn't mean it would be as linear as Twilight Princess, for example, but more along the lines of A Link Between Worlds. freedom to roam around the world as you please, but with certain requirements to continue the story. With Link and Zelda searching that cavern and finding Ganondorf's corpse, however, I'm just going to say that the story looks very promising so far. Breath of the Wild was, truth be told, lacking enemy variety. Nintendo tried to make up for this by using different tiers of the enemies present in the game. Breath of the Wild had Bokoblins, Moblins, Keese, Choo-Choos, Lizalfos, Octoroks, Wizzrobes, Stalfos, and Lynels alongside new enemies such as Guardians and the Giga Clan. Breath of the Wild also has overworld bosses like the Hinniks, alongside new bosses like the Taluses and the Molduga, which are a variation of Mulgara from the Wind Waker. In Breath of the Wild sequel, the world needs to have more variety than this. It feels like a lot because of what we have mixed with the tiers of each enemy. Where are the Skulltulas, the Tektites? Where are the Dekubabas, the Deku Scrubs, the Darknuts, the Dongos, Redeads, Gibdos, Leavers, Peahats, or Bows? There are just so many different foes we could fight, not to mention the potential for new enemies as well. I think everyone would benefit from being able to fight a bigger variety of monsters in the next game. Something that I found to deeply miss from Breath of the Wild was traditional items and dungeons. While the Sheikah Slate was an awesome new version of Link's items, it did not truly replace the amusing classic items of Link's past. The reason this was done though was so that the player could get all the items needed to fully explore the world right off the bat, so that Link wouldn't be locked from accessing new findings on your journey. While this idea makes sense, the wonder and pure joy of finding a cool new weapon or useful item is what made the classic Zeldas so much more joyful. The Divine Beasts and Shrines were also a cool new addition to the game, as finding shrines was always such a joy because it meant puzzles, and more importantly, spirit orbs. However, as great as they were, they definitely felt lacking. All 120 shrines and 4 Divine Beasts used the same Sheikah technology design, and after so long, it really gets old. I want to be able to find and explore random, traditional dungeons I find in my adventure. Imagine Link running through a forest or a swamp, and as you climb down a steep mountain, you are greeted by an old and seemingly forgotten temple. Link heads inside, and it's full of monsters, puzzles, traps, and best of all, a hookshot. Link then continues the dungeon, fights the boss, collects the heart container, and heads out. Wouldn't that be amazing? The original Zelda used this concept, and I pray that the next Zelda game will somehow incorporate this. Based on the teaser trailer, we get a 1-second pan of some sort of temple underground. Hopefully, this is a traditional dungeon. Whew, we are finally done with this video. What idea do you like the most for Breath of the Wild sequel? Are there any you don't like? What would you put in Breath of the Wild 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this, please be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell for more Zelda and Nintendo content to come. Side note, I live stream frequently on this channel, so if you enjoy Nintendo or Zelda live streams, then there's another reason to subscribe. Finally, if you would like to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch, or even stay up to date with me on Facebook, check the description below for my social media links. If you'd like to support me on Patreon and pledge even one simple dollar, it'd make my world and help motivate to keep these videos coming. That's all I have for now, so once again, my name is HylianLuke, and I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao!